Listen to me. I didn't come this far to quit. I didn't crawl through pain, survive failure, and walk through storms just to maybe win. Success is not a dream to me. Success is my last option. See, you're out here with a backup plan. You got safety nets, you got fallback positions. That's your problem. You're not all in. But me, I burned the boats. There's no plan B. There's no second route. I block every exit. It's win or die trying. I grew up without guarantees, without silver spoons, without promises. I had one thing, a dream and a grind. You see, when people told me I wouldn't make it, I told them, watch me. When I was broke, hungry, and alone, I said, this pain will become my power. And I made a decision. Success is my last option. I can't afford to be average. I refuse to live and die unnoticed. I won't hand down fear, regret, and failure to my children. I'm giving them a legacy, a story that says he made it because he refused to give up. So, when you feel tired, remember this. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. When the voices in your head tell you to stop, tell them I'm not done until I win. You want motivation? Look in the mirror. You want success? Fight for it. Cry if you must, bleed if you must, but don't you ever stop moving forward. Because I'm not looking for a way out. I'm looking for a way through. I'm not hoping for success. I'm demanding it. And until my last breath, I'll keep pushing. Why? Because success is not a choice. It's my last option. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, there is no room for retreat. You can't leave yourself an exit. You can't give yourself a way out. That's the problem with most people. They don't fully commit. They try to dip one foot in and then keep the other foot out. They say they want success, but they still got options. They still got comfort zones. They still got backup plans. As long as you have a backup plan, you will never give your full heart, your full energy, your full soul to plan A. You see, when I say burn the boats, I'm talking about going all in. No plan B, no exit strategy, just one path, forward. When the Spanish conqueror Hernan Cortez landed on the shores of the New World, he gave a command that shocked his men, burned his ships. He made it clear, we're not going back. The only way is forward. That kind of commitment, that kind of mindset changes everything. Because when you know there's no way out, when you know there's no retreat, you show up different. You think different, you fight different, but most of y'all, you still got your ships parked at the shoreline. You say you're chasing your dream, but deep down, you're keeping your job just in case it doesn't work. You say you want to be great, but you're still holding on to people who don't believe in you because you're afraid of being alone. Because you're afraid of being alone. You say you're all in, but when it gets hard, you entertain quitting. That's not commitment. That's not championship mentality. That's not how legends are made. You've got to stop giving yourself options to fail. When you allow yourself a way out, you'll take it the moment things get tough. Tough. But when there's only one way, when the bridge is burned, when the boats are gone, you dig deeper. You go to war with yourself. You find strength you didn't know you had. You fight until something breaks. Eventually it does. It's because your will becomes unshakable. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another YouTube video. You don't need someone clapping for you. What you need is a decision, a real decision. The kind where you say, this is it. I'm gonna make it happen, or I'm gonna die trying. Because let me tell you something, the moment you decide that success is your only option, everything changes. You won't hit the snooze button. You don't procrastinate. You don't complain. You don't wait for the right time. You become dangerous. You become focused. You become unstoppable. That's why I burned my boats. That's why I stopped living for approval and started living for purpose. That's why I stopped trying to impress people and started building something real. Because I knew if I left myself an escape route, I'd take it the moment fear showed up. So I closed every door behind me. I turned off the noise. I blocked out the distraction. And I put all my energy into the one thing that mattered, moving forward. Listen to me. The only thing standing between you and your dream is your willingness to fight for it. I'm not talking about wishing. I'm not talking about hoping. I'm talking about sacrifice. I'm talking about showing up every single day with intensity, with hunger, with the mindset that you will not leave until you get what you came for. That's how you win. That's how you become legendary. Not by having talent, not by getting lucky, not by waiting, but by being relentless, by refusing to quit, by burning every boat so the only way is through. I meet people all the time who say they want to succeed, but I don't see it in how they live. They're still trying to balance safety and ambition. They're still talking about what they'll do if it doesn't work out. Let me tell you something. If you're thinking about failure, you're preparing for it. If you got a way to turn back, you'll never go all the way in. That's why I made the decision. There's no plan B. There's no going back. Success is my last option. You need to make the same decision. Look at your life and ask yourself, what boats am I still holding on? What comfort zones are you protecting? What doubts are you feeding? What fears are you entertaining? Burn them. Destroy every excuse. Kill every distraction. Say goodbye to everything that doesn't align with where you're going. Because if you don't, you'll stay stuck. You'll keep circling the same mountain, wondering why nothing's changing. Success doesn't come to the talented. It comes to the committed. It comes to the ones who shut every door behind them and say, I'm all in. No exit, no retreat. Just purpose, fire, and a decision that this is it. You got to kill the backup plan, period. If you got a plan B, you're already preparing to lose. I'm not trying to be cute with it. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you. I'm telling you right now, as long as you got an escape route, a safety net, something to fall back on, you'll never give your full self to the goal you say you want. That dream, that vision, that purpose burning in your heart, it'll never get your best until you remove every other option from the table. Look at the way you're moving right now. You say you want to succeed. You say you want to be great, but you're still hedging your bets. You still got your bets. You still in case plans. You got one foot in your calling and the other foot in your comfort zone. That's not how champions operate. That's not how people who make it to the top think. People who make it, they commit fully. They don't leave the door cracked open. They slam it shut, lock it, throw away the key and say, this is it. This is the only way. And that's the problem with most people. They don't go all in. They play it safe. They work on their dream after their 9 to 5, but they don't believe in it enough to leave the 9 to 5. They want freedom, but they're still too afraid to let go of stability. And I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm telling you to stop letting fear control you. Because fear will always tell you to keep the side door open. Fear will always whisper, what if it doesn't work? But faith says, oh, what if it does? You got to shut down every other route. You got to wake up every day and say, this is my only path. Because when it's the only path, you walk it differently. When you know there's no way back, you give it everything you got. You stop procrastinating. You stop making excuses. You stop wasting time. You dig deep. You move with urgency. You show up hungry every single day. Let me break it down for you. If you're doing something right now that you don't love, that doesn't serve your future. That doesn't push your purpose forward. You're wasting time. You're wasting life. You weren't created to live for average. You weren't built for mediocrity. You were made for greatness. But greatness doesn't come to people who play it safe. Greatness comes to people who take risks, who say, even if I fail, I'd rather fail going after what I love than succeed living a lie. That's how I've lived. I didn't always have money. I didn't always have recognition, but I had a dream. And I had the courage to say, this is all I've got. There's no plan B. Because I didn't have another option. I showed up to life differently. I worked harder. I studied longer. I sacrificed more. Because I knew if I didn't make it, there was no second route. I had to figure it out. I had to win. And that hunger, that desperation, that's what drives success. The reason you're not moving like you should is because you got too many cushions around you. You padded yourself with comfort. You've surrounded yourself with options. You got backup jobs, backup relationships, backup lifestyle. So when things get uncomfortable, you run. You fall back, but people who burn the bridge behind them don't have that luxury. People who take the leap with no net don't have the option to fall back. They fight to stay in the air. And let me tell you something. When you put yourself in that position, when it's do or die, your potential rises. Your intensity multiplies. You stop being passive. You stop wasting time. You stop hanging out with people who don't push you because now you're in survival mode. And when your dream becomes a matter of survival, that's when the breakthrough happens. And that's when things shift. That's when you finally unlock who you really are. Too many people treat their dreams like a side hustle. You work on it when it's convenient. You chase it when everything's going well. But the moment life gets hard, you pull back. That's not how dreams come alive. Dreams require commitment. Dreams require commitment. Dreams demand lalo. If you're not willing to bet your life on it, don't expect it to pay you back. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying it's going to be worth it. But it only becomes worth it when you're all in. When you burn the bridges. When you've cut off every lifeline that leads back to a lesser version of yourself. You've got to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm not going back to that version of me. I'm not going back to that life. I'm not going back to that fear. It's this or nothing. No plan B, no just in case. No half effort. Either I win or I learn. Either I rise or I grind harder. But quitting is off the table. Turning back is not an option. There's no other life for me. This is it. Pain is a part of the process. It's not the enemy, it's the ingredient. Everybody wants power, but nobody wants pain. Everybody wants the platform, but they don't want the process. They want the spotlight, but they don't want the scars. Well, let me tell you something. Every ounce of power I've got today came from pain. Every speech I give, every fire I light in other people, it came from the dark places I had to climb out of. Pain made me. Pain shaped me. Pain transformed me. You keep running from the pain, and that's why you're still stuck. That's why you haven't broken through yet. Because every time life gets hard, you retreat. You back off. You shut down. But winners lean in. Champions embrace the pain. They don't ask for life to get easier. They get stronger. They stop saying, why me? And start saying, why me? Because they know something you haven't realized yet. Pain is the pathway to power. I was homeless. I slept in abandoned buildings. I had days where I didn't eat, weeks where I didn't know what tomorrow looked like. And while most people would have used that pain as a reason to give up, I used it as fuel. I looked at my struggle and said, this will not break me. This will build me. I didn't have comfort. I didn't have security, but I had a reason to fight. And that fight, that's what turned my pain into purpose. That's what gave me my voice. That's what gave me my edge. See, pain teaches you what pleasure can. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you character. It teaches you who you are. When nothing's going your way, everybody looks good when things are easy. Everybody has a smile when the money's flowing and the doors are opening. But who are you when it all falls apart? Who are you when you're broken, when you're hurt, when the people you counted on disappear? That's when your real self shows up. That's when the foundation is tested. It's up. That's when your destiny is decided. Not in the good days, but in the hard ones. But most people waste their pain. They complain. They feel sorry for themselves. They drown in self-pity. They use the pain as a reason to quit, as an excuse to stop. But what if I told you that the very thing you're trying to avoid is the thing that will unlock your greatness? What if I told you that your pain is not your punishment, it's your preparation? Every tear you've cried, every heart that's been broken, every time you've been counted out, that's not just suffering. That's training. That's your sharpening season. That's your development ground. Diamonds don't form without pressure. Steel doesn't get strong without heat. And warriors don't rise without battle. So don't curse the pain. Use it. Let it mold you. Let it fire you up. Let it push you harder than you've ever gone before. Because the people at the top, they didn't get there without pain. The difference is they didn't stop in the middle of it. They didn't let it break them. They let it build them. And that's what you got to do. You got to stop thinking that pain is the end. No, pain is the beginning. It's the start of the new you. It's the start of your next chapter. But only if you choose to push through it. Only if you choose to rise when everything in you wants to collapse. You got to stop avoiding what hurts and start asking, what is this teaching me? You've got to stop blaming the world and start building from the wreckage, because power doesn't come from comfort. It comes from comfort. And if you never go through the fire, you'll never know how strong you really are. And listen, I get it. Pain sucks. It's real. I'm not here to downplay what you've been through. I know betrayal hurts. I know loss crushes you. I know trauma scars deep. But if you let it, pain will leave you powerless. It will trap you in bitterness and fear, in paralysis. But if you rise, if you fight, if you decide to flip the script, that same pain will become your weapon. It'll become your testimony. It'll become the very thing that connects you to others, that gives your voice weight, that makes your presence undeniable. I don't just talk about pain because it sounds cool. I talk about it because I've lived it. and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because pain gave me purpose. Pain gave me grit. Pain taught me to never beg for life to be easy, to beg to be better, to beg to be stronger, to beg for the opportunity to show the world that even in my lowest moment, I still rose. So when life hits you, don't run, don't break, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, focus. Lock in and remind yourself, this moment is not my end, it's my evolution. The more it hurts, the harder I push, the more it burns, the brighter I shine, because I refuse to let this pain go to waste. Excuses are the language of the broken. Excuses are the enemy of excellence, and I don't care how good they sound. They will never take you where you want to go. Every time you make an excuse, you take a step backward. Every time you justify staying where you are, you delay the greatness that's waiting on you. You can't have excuses and results. You gotta pick one. You gotta decide which one you're going to stand to lead your life. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's been through something. You think you're the only one who's tired, the only one who's been through pain, the only one who's had it rough. I've been through it too. I didn't have a perfect upbringing. I didn't get handed anything. I didn't grow up in comfort or luxury. I grew up in survival. I slept on floors. I ate out of trash cans. I went years without seeing a clear future. But I didn't let that become my excuse. I let it become my reason. I didn't say, look at what I don't have. I said, watch what I do with what I've got. Excuses don't change your circumstances. They just make you feel better about staying stuck. And if you need an excuse, life will always give you one. It'll offer you 100 reasons to quit, 1,000 reasons to play it safe, 1,000,000 reasons to give up. But champions don't accept them. Champ them. Champions don't listen to that voice that said, you're not ready. They shut that voice down. They replace excuses with execution. They don't sit around waiting for the stars to align. They grind in the dark until the light shows up. I've heard every excuse in the book. I don't have time. Oh, I don't have the money. I don't know the right people. I've been through too much. I didn't grow up with support. And every single one of them might be true. But here's what's also true. You're still responsible for your life. It doesn't matter who hurt you. It doesn't matter what they said. It doesn't matter how unfair it was. You're not responsible for what happened to you. But you are responsible for what you do next. You are responsible for how you respond. Some people treat their excuses like trophies. They wear their pain like a bag. They use their struggles as shields to protect them from accountability. But I need you to hear me. The world does not owe you anything. Your past doesn't get to dictate your future unless you let it. You can stay in the pain and call it true, or you can rise above it and call it fuel. But you can't do both. You can't keep talking about what's holding you back while claiming you want to move forward. The day I stopped making excuses was the day my life changed. The day I looked in the mirror and said, it's on you. That was the day I started taking control. No more blaming my parents. No more blaming the system. No more blaming my circumstances. I took ownership. I said, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's going to be because I make it happen. And from that moment on, I started building momentum. Not because the world changed, but because I did. There's no growth where there are excuses. Excuses create limits. Excuses build walls. Excuses trap you inside a mindset that said, that's all I'll ever be. And that's a lie. You were not made for average. You were made for impact. But you can't walk into your calling carrying the weight of your excuses. You've got to drop them. You've got to destroy them. You've got to say, I don't care what happened yesterday. Today, I rise. And let me be real with you. Excuses feel good in the moment. They protect your ego. They give you something to blame. But in the long run, they cost you everything. They cost you time. They cost you opportunity. They cost you your dream. Every excuse you allow into your life steals a piece of your future. And if you keep making them, eventually you'll wake up to a life that looks nothing like the one you wanted. Not because you weren't capable, but because you wouldn't let go of your reasons not to try. You've got to develop the mindset that so whatever happens, I will find a way. You got to get hungry. You got to get desperate. You got to be willing to do whatever it takes, no matter how long it takes. Because your dream is worth that kind of effort. Your dream is worth that kind of effort. And when things don't go your way, you don't fall back on an excuse. You get back up and keep moving forward. You adapt, you adjust, you rise. Because at the end of the day, your results will reflect one thing. Your excuses or your effort, they will show the world what mattered most to you. So you've got to decide right now, are you going to be a person who lets excuses define your story, or are you going to be the one who breaks the cycle and builds a legacy? Excuses don't live here anymore. They can't. Not if you're serious, not if you're committed, not if you're done playing small. You weren't born to be average. You weren't put on this earth to be like everybody else. You weren't created to blend in, to follow the crowd, to settle for whatever life throws at you. Deep down, you know it. That fire in your gut, that restlessness, that voice telling you there's more, that's not noise. That's your calling waking you up. That's purpose knocking on the door, begging you not to forget who you are. Average is the enemy. The average is what happens when you stop trying, when you stop caring, when you stop listening to the world more than you listen to y'all. Average is what people accept when they're giving up on greatness. But let me be clear. Average is a choice. And the moment you decide to stop chasing greatness, you've chosen average. You've chosen comfort. You've chosen small when you were built for big. I don't say this to judge you. I say it to wake you up because I lived that life, that I coasted. I tried to fit in what people expected me to be. But you know what I realized? No matter how much I tried to play small, life never felt right. I was miserable, not because I didn't have enough, but because I wasn't becoming enough. I was designed to grow, designed to elevate, designed to lead. And so were you. But most people stop climbing. They hit a level and they park there. They get the job and then they stop learning. They get the relationship and then they stop growing. They hit one goal and they think they've arrived, but success is not a destination, it's a standard. It's a daily demand. It's a mentality that said, I'm never finished, I'm always rising. You can't let average creep into your life and take over because it doesn't show up all at once. It starts in the small decisions. It starts when you hit the snooze button instead of waking up early. It starts when you say, I'll do it tomorrow instead of right now. It starts when you say, this is good enough, when you know in your soul it's not. And before you know it, your whole life becomes a reflection of mediocrity. Not because you weren't capable of more, but because you got comfortable with less. I refused to let that happen to me. I made a decision that average was off the table. That being like everyone else wasn't good enough for the gifts I've been given. That playing it safe wasn't worthy of my calling. And once I made that decision, everything changed. I stopped doing things halfway. I stopped surrounding myself with people who had small visions. I stopped tolerating lazy habits, weak mindsets, and excuses. Because when you decide that average is not an option, your standards rise. And when your standards rise, so does your life. That doesn't mean everything got easy. It got harder. The moment you stop settling, the moment you start pushing for greatness, life will test you. It will throw resistance at you. People will question you, doubt you. Some will even leave you because your refusal to settle will expose their comfort. But that's the price. And it's worth it because the cost of staying average is far greater. The cost of living below your potential is a lifetime of regret. And if you've ever tasted what it feels like to go all in, to give everything you've got to something meaningful, then you know how addictive it is. You know how powerful it feels to wake up with purpose, to look in the mirror and know you're becoming the best version of yourself. That feeling doesn't come from average. It comes from hunger, from discipline, from the decision to rise when everyone else is standing still. And don't think I'm just talking about career success or money or fame. I'm talking about how you live, how you love, how you grow, how you lead, how you show up for your life. You weren't born just to exist. You were born to make an impact, to leave a mark, to become something so powerful that when you walk into a room, people feel your energy before you even speak. None of that is possible if you choose average. None of that happens if you keep playing small. So I'm challenging you today. Make the decision. Burn the bridges. Kill the excuses. Raise your standards. Don't just want more. Demand more from yourself, from your time, from your circle. Because average will always be available. It's always right there waiting for you to quit. But so is greatness. So is the best version of you. You just gotta want it bad enough. You've got to believe that it's possible. And then you got to grind like your life depends on it. Because it does. You weren't created to be ordinary. You were created to rise. And if that means working harder than everyone else, then so be it. If that means walking alone for a while, then walk. If that means sacrificing what's easy for what's right, then sacrifice. Because once you taste greatness, average will never be enough again. You have two choices, sacrifice or regret. That's it. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. You can pay the price now or pay the pain of regret later. You can sweat now or cry later. You can be uncomfortable now or be haunted by what could have been for the rest of your life. Either way, you're going to suffer. But only one path leads to something worth it. Everybody wants the reward, but nobody wants the sacrifice. You want the body, but you don't want the gym. You want the dream, but you don't want the discipline. You want the spotlight, but you don't want the silence of grinding in the dark when no one's clapping. That's not how it works. You don't get greatness by accident. You get it by choice. You get it by waking up every day and choosing to pay the price. Even when nobody's watching, and especially when it hurts. There were nights I wanted to sleep. There were days I wanted to quit. But I kept going because I knew the pain I felt in the moment was temporary. And the pain of regret would last forever. I've seen what it looks like when people give up on themselves. I've seen dreams buried in graves. I've seen people still alive, but walking around like they're already dead because they never sacrificed when they had the chance. I told myself I would never live that way. I would never let fear or laziness or comfort rob me of my future. So I sacrificed. I gave up sleep. I gave up parties. I gave up distractions, not because I had to, but because I chose to, because I knew what I wanted didn't come cheap. Success will never be handed to you. It must be earned. It demands everything. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care how tired you are. It doesn't care if you're not in the mood. It only cares about effort, hunger, and consistency. And the ones who rise, the ones who break through, they're not the most talented. They're not the luckiest. They're the ones who showed up every day and gave what it took. You've got to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up? What are you willing to lay on the altar of your dreams? Because something has to go. You can't have it all. You can't binge Netflix every night and expect to live like the top 1%. You can't party every weekend and think success will wait for you. You've got to trade momentary pleasure for long-term purpose. You've got to delay gratification. You've got to put off what feels good now for what will feel great later. That's what sacrifice is. It's not just giving things up. It's giving things up for a reason. And let me tell you this, sacrifice hurts. That's why most people don't do it. It hurts to say no to what everyone else is doing. It hurts to wake up earlier than your body wants to. It hurts to work late when you're exhausted. It hurts to be misunderstood, to be isolated, to be different. But you've got to be okay with being different. You've got to be okay with being lonely for a while. Because legends are not made in crowds. They're made in quiet rooms with no applause, no spotlight, just work. But here's the beautiful part. Sacrifice compounds. Every early morning adds up. Every late night matters. Every time you choose purpose over pleasure, you build a future that's worth the fight. One day, you wake up and realize you become the version of you used to dream about. And in that moment, all the sacrifices, all the pain, the struggle, the tears, they don't feel like losses. They feel like investments, like seeds that finally bloomed. The people who regret the most at the end of their lives aren't the ones who tried and failed. They're the ones who never tried at all. The ones who played it safe. The ones who put off chasing a dream until it was too late. They didn't lose because they weren't good enough. They lost because they were afraid to give up what was easy in exchange for what was great. So if you're standing at a crossroads right now, if you're debating whether it's worth it, let me tell you it is. It always has been. But it won't be easy. You're going to cry. You're going to want to quit. You're going to doubt yourself. But if you stay the course, if you hold the line, if you give it everything you've got, one day the thing you're sacrificing for will become your reality. Don't wait until the opportunity is gone to realize what it was worth. Don't wait until the door closes to start fighting for it. You got time, but not forever. So use it. Don't let the comfort of now steal the greatness of tomorrow. Make the sacrifices now. Say no to what doesn't align with your vision. Trade temporary fun for permanent freedom. Because regret doesn't ask for permission. It just shows up when it's too late. Sacrifice now or live with regret for the rest of your life. It all starts in your mind. Every decision, every action, every habit, every win or loss. It all begins with the way you think. The reason some people never rise isn't because they don't have talent. It's not because they lack opportunity. It's because their mind is weak. Their thoughts are limited. They see failure before they even start. They sabotage themselves before the world ever has a chance to stop them. The difference between average and unstoppable isn't in what you have. It's in how you think. Mindset is not just a buzzword. It's not some cliche motivational slogan. It's life or death. You can have all the resources, all the support, all the tools. But if your mind is set on losing, you will lose. And on the flip side, you could have nothing. If your mindset is locked in, if your mindset is unshakable, you'll find a way. I'm telling you right now, what you believe about yourself is more powerful than anything anyone could ever say about you. I've seen people with nothing build empires because they refuse to let their circumstances define their possibilities. I've seen people with everything crumble under the pressure because deep down, they never believed they deserved to win. This is why I say mindset is everything. It's the foundation. It's the thermostat that sets the temperature of your life. If your mindset is set on survival, you'll never know what it feels like to thrive. If your mindset is locked into fear, you'll always play small. When I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, when I was living on the streets, I had every reason to give up, but I didn't. Because in my mind, I knew that wasn't where my story would end. I saw something bigger. I held on to that vision even when my reality didn't match it. That's mindset. That's the power of seeing past what is into what could be. And the only way to do that is to train your mind like a muscle. You gotta strengthen it. You gotta protect it. You gotta be intentional about what you allow into your headspace. You can't expect to win if your mind is flooded with negativity. You can't speak doubt all day and expect to wake up full of confidence. You can't hang around people with small thinking and expect to build a big life. You gotta take control of your mind. You gotta feed it the right things. Read the books. Listen to the voices that push you higher. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to rise. Talk to yourself differently. Stop saying I can't and start saying I will. You gotta catch your own lies because your mind will try to talk you out of greatness. It will try to keep you safe, keep you small. That's what fear does. That's what insecurity does. That's what insecurity does. It whispers, oh, don't try, we're not good enough, oh, what if you fail? And most people believe it. But not you, not anymore. From this moment forward, you fight back. You replace those thoughts with truth. You replace those fears with faith. You say, even if I fall, I'll get back up. Even if I fail, I'll grow. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be powerful. There's no dream too big if your mindset is aligned with your grind. There's no challenge too strong if your belief system is rooted and resilient. But that kind of mindset doesn't just happen. You gotta build it every day. You've gotta train your mind to see solutions, not problems. To see possibilities, not limits. To see the fight, not the fear. That's why some people are unstoppable. It's not because life goes easy on them. It's not because they never get tired. It's because they trained their mind to keep going when their body wanted to quit. They train their mind to say yes to discomfort, yes to failure, yes to uncertainty, because they know growth lives on the other side of those things. You gotta make your mind your strongest asset, not your biggest obstacle. You gotta stop saying things like, that's just how I am. No, that's how you've trained yourself to be. But guess what? You can untrain that. You can rewire the way you think. You can go from self-doubt to self-belief. You can go from fear to faith, from victim to victor. It's not magic, it's mindset. And mindset is a decision. No one is coming to fix your thoughts for you. That's your job. You've got to be the one who stands guard at the door of your mind and says, not this time. I'm not letting that doubt in. I'm not letting that insecurity control me. I'm not letting that past define me. You've got to declare war on the lies and replace them with truth, with vision, with purpose. Because once your mind is right, your life will follow. Once your thoughts change, your choices change, your habits change, your future changes. So don't wait another day doubting yourself. Decide right now, you're going to think different. You're going to believe different. You're going to believe different. You're going to live different. Because you're done being a prisoner to small thinking. You're done being average. You're done letting fear run the show. Your mind is your power. Master it, and you master your life. It all starts in your mind. Every decision, every action, every habit, every win or loss, it all begins with the way you think. The reason some people never rise isn't because they don't have talent. It's not because they lack opportunity. It's because their mind is weak. Their thoughts are limited. They see failure before they even start. They sabotage themselves before the world ever has a chance to stop them. The difference between average and unstoppable isn't in what you have. It's in how you think. Mindset is not just a buzzword. It's not some cliche motivational slogan. It's life or death. You can have all the resources, all the support, all the tools. But if your mind is set on losing, you will lose. And on the flip side, you can have nothing. But if your mindset is locked in, if your mindset is unshakable, you'll find a way. I'm telling you right now, what you believe about yourself is more powerful than anything anyone could ever say about you. I've seen people with nothing build empires because they refuse to let their circumstances define their possibilities. I've seen people with everything crumble under the pressure because deep down, they never believed they deserved to win. This is why I say mindset is everything. It's the foundation. It's the thermostat that sets the temperature of your life. If your mindset is set on survival, you'll never know what it feels like to thrive. If your mindset is locked into fear, you'll always play small. When I was sleeping in abandoned buildings, when I was living on the streets, I had every reason to give up. But I didn't. Because in my mind, I knew that wasn't where my story would end. I saw something bigger. I held on to that vision, even when my reality didn't match it. That's mindset. That's the power of seeing past what is into what could be. And the only way to do that is to train your mind like a muscle. You've got to strengthen it. You've got to protect it. You've got to be intentional about what you allow into your headspace. You can't expect to win if your mind is flooded with negativity. You can't speak doubt all day and expect to wake up full of confidence. You can't hang around people with small thinking and expect to build a big life. You got to take control of your mind. You got to feed it the right things. Read the books. Listen to the voices that push you higher. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to rise. Talk to yourself differently. Stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. You got to catch your own lies, because your mind will try to talk you out of greatness. It will try to keep you safe, keep you small. That's what fear does. That's what insecurity does. It whispers, don't try. You're not good enough. Or what if you fail? And most people believe it, but not you. Not anymore. From this moment forward, you fight back. You replace those thoughts with truth. You replace those fears with faith. You say, even if I fall, I'll get back up. Even if I fail, I'll grow. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be powerful. There's no dream too big if your mindset is aligned with your grind. There's no challenge too strong if your belief system is rooted in resilience. But that kind of mindset doesn't just happen. You got to build it. Every day, you got to train your mind to see solutions, not problems. To see possibilities, not limits. To see the fight, not the fear. That's why some people are unstoppable. It's not because life goes easy on them. It's not because they never get tired. It's because they train their mind to keep going when their body wanted to quit. They train their mind to say yes to discomfort, yes to failure, yes to uncertainty, because they know growth lives on the other side of those things. You've got to make your mind your strongest asset, not your biggest obstacle. You've got to stop saying things like, that's just how I am. No, that's how you trained yourself to be. But guess what? You can untrain that. You can rewire the way you think. You can go from self-doubt to self-belief. You can go from fear to faith, from victim to victor. It's not magic. It's mindset, and mindset is a decision. No one is coming to fix your thoughts for you. That's your job. You've got to be the one who stands guard at the door of your mind and says, not today, not this time. I'm not letting that doubt in. I'm not letting that insecurity control me. I'm not letting that past define me. You've got to declare war on the lies and replace them with truth, with vision, with purpose. Because once your mind is right, your life will follow. Once your thoughts change, your choices change. Your habits change. Your future changes. So don't wait another day doubting yourself. Decide right now, you're gonna think different. You're gonna believe different. You're gonna live different. Because you're done being a live different prisoner to small thinking. You're done being average. You're done being average. You're done letting fear run the show. Your mind is your power. Master it, and you master your life. Pressure is not your enemy. It's your opportunity. Most people run from pressure, hide from pressure, complain about pressure. But pressure is the thing that reveals who you really are. It doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to expose you, to refine you, to build you. You don't become great when life is easy. You become great when life is hard, when everything is on the line, when you're being tested and you choose to rise instead of fold. Look at nature. Diamonds don't happen by accident. They are formed deep beneath the earth, under intense pressure and heat over time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen gently. That's what separates a diamond from a piece of coal, pressure. And if you want to be a diamond in your life, you're going to have to go through your own fire. You're going to have to stand in a storm and refuse to back down. People want success without struggle, growth without discomfort, greatness without adversity. But that's not how any of this works. If you want to be sharp, polished, brilliant, you've got to endure the process. You've got to stop asking life to be easy and start asking yourself to be stronger. Because every time you're under pressure, you have a choice: break or become unbreakable. I face pressure. I've been under the weight of failure, of poverty, of rejection. I've had moments when it felt like the world was crushing me. And in those moments, I had two voices in my head. One said, quit, and the other said, a fight. I made the choice to fight. Not because I wasn't scared, not because it didn't hurt, but because I knew that pressure wasn't going to last forever. But the version of me that came out on the other side would last forever. Pressure will test everything about you. It'll test your patience, your focus, your faith, your discipline. It'll show you what you really believe. You can say you're committed when everything is calm, but when pressure hits, that's when we find out who you really are. Will you panic or will you push? Will you retreat or will you rise? Pressure can either paralyze you or produce power in you. And that decision is yours. You've got to stop treating pressure like a punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Life isn't trying to break you. It's trying to build something inside you that couldn't exist without the struggle. You don't gain muscle without tension. You don't gain wisdom without mistakes. You don't gain strength without being tested. And don't let social media fool you. You're looking at people's highlights, thinking they were born with it, thinking they woke up successful. But behind every win is pressure. Behind every victory is a season of pain that nobody saw. The ones who make it to the top are the ones who didn't run when it got hard. They stayed in the fire. They stayed in the heat. They let the pressure mold them, shape them, transform them. Pressure is not there to destroy you. It's there to demand more of you, to push you past what you thought were your limits. It's not there to make you question your worth. It's there to make you prove it. And you don't prove your worth by talking about it. You prove it by showing up when it's hard, by staying locked in when your emotions are all over the place, by staying disciplined when everything in you wants to quit. You can't skip this process. You can't fast forward through it. You can't buy your way out of it. If you want to be great, really great, you've got to earn it in the furnace. You've got to walk through the valley. You've got to carry the weight and still move forward. That's how you become a diamond. That's how you become rare. Some of you are under pressure right now. You're in a storm beam or a model. You're in a tight space. You're overwhelmed, tired, on the verge of quitting. But I need you to hear me. Don't give up. Don't waste this season. This pressure is producing something in you. You might not see it yet. You might not feel it yet. But if you keep pushing, if you keep grinding, one day you'll look back and say, that moment didn't break me. It built me. You gotta lean into the pressure. Stop avoiding it. Stop praying for it to go away and start asking what it's trying to teach you. Pressure teaches focus. It teaches urgency. It teaches you how to get out of your own way and step into your full potential. And once you've been through enough pressure, you stop fearing it. You welcome it. You know that with every wave you're being sharpened, strengthened, elevated. Diamonds don't complain about the pressure. They become because of it. And you too are becoming. Every test is shaping you. Every challenge is refining you. So don't tap out. Don't shrink. Don't run. Stand tall. Stand strong, because pressure doesn't crush diamonds, it creates them. Everybody's got a dream. Everybody. You could walk down the street and ask 10 people what they want in life, and every single one of them could tell you something. Something big, something beautiful, something powerful. Dreams are free. Dreams don't cost you anything. You can dream with no money in your pocket, no credentials on your resume, no spotlight on your name. But the hustle, the grind, that's the part nobody talks about. That's the price you pay when nobody's watching. That's the cost most people aren't willing to cover. The dream is just a vision. It's the trailer. It's the highlight reel in your head of what life could look like. But the hustle, that's the real movie. That's the behind the scenes struggle. The early mornings, the late nights, the days when your body aches and your mind wants to quit, but you show up anyway. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers, because dreaming doesn't take discipline. Hustling does. Dreaming doesn't test your character. Hustling does. You can't just want it. You've got to work for it. You've got to be willing to outlast, outwork, and outbelieve everybody around you. Wanting is not enough. Hoping is not enough. Writing your goals on the wall is not enough. You've got to match your dreams with action. You've got to back your vision with sacrifice. You've got to be willing to hustle when the feeling is gone, when the inspiration dries up, when the doors close in your face. And don't get it twisted. The hustle isn't just about working hard when you feel like it. It's about working hard when it's inconvenient, when it's boring, when it's painful. Anybody can grind when the sun is shining, when the wind is at your back. But how do you show up when it's dark, when you're broke, when you're doubting everything? That's when the real hustle starts. There were times I didn't have gas money. Times I had to walk instead of ride. Times I was so tired, I didn't know how I was gonna get through the day. But I kept showing up because I understood something most people never will. The hustle doesn't care how you feel. The hustle doesn't wait for permission. The hustle doesn't make excuses. It just demands your effort. Everywhere, single day. And let me tell you this, you don't get to buy your dream on clearance. You don't get discounts just because you've been through a lot. The price is full. The price is pressure. The price is pain. The price is patience. The price is consistency when quitting would be easier. And if you're not willing to pay that price, that dream will stay a fantasy forever. A wish, a someday that never comes. The problem is we live in a world that celebrates the dream but ignores the hustle. Social media shows you the glow up, not the grind. You see the end result, the success, the lifestyle, the applause, but you didn't see the tears. You didn't see the losses. You didn't see the 10 years of failure before the breakthrough. That's why so many people get discouraged. They think they're doing it wrong because it's hard. But let me tell you something. If it's hard, you're doing it right. The hustle is lonely. It's quiet. It's repetitive. You wake up, grind, sleep, and do it again. Without praise, without validation. But every rep, every step, every small decision, it matters. It's building you. It's shaping you. It's preparing you for that moment when the dream finally meets the hustle. Everything aligns. And when that moment comes, you'll know you earned it. Not because someone handed it to you, but because you fought for it. Don't let the dream trick you into thinking the path will be easy. The dream is the spark. The hustle is the fire. The dream is the blueprint. The hustle is the brickwork. And brick by brick, sweat by sweat, you build something that lasts. Something that can't be shaken by failure or stolen by criticism because you pay for it in full. And when you pay full price, you protect it, you value it, you never take it for granted. So if you're tired right now, good. That means you're in the fight. If you're doubting yourself, good. That means you're close to something real. If you're working and the results haven't shown up yet, keep going. Because the hustle always pays off. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day the world will see what you saw all along. And they'll call you lucky, but you'll know it wasn't luck. It was work. The dream might be free, but the hustle, that's gonna cost you everything. Your comfort, your excuses, your pride. But what you get in return, growth, discipline, self-respect, and a life that reflects your highest potential is worth far more than anything you'll ever sacrifice. You will fall. That's not a possibility. That's a guarantee. You will mess up. You will fail. You will make mistakes. Life will knock you down. Not once, not twice, but over and over and over again. But falling isn't what defines you. Staying down is. Because the people who win in this life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stay down. You've got to make up your mind right now that no matter how many times you fall, you will get back up. If it takes 8, 9, 10 times, so be it. Because every time you rise, you take your power back. Failure is part of the journey. There's no success story without failure chapters. And I mean real failure, the kind that humbles you, embarrasses you, tests every fiber of your being. The kind that makes you want to hide, makes you question everything, makes you wonder if it's even worth it. I've been there. I failed in public, failed in private. I've fallen when I thought I had it all together. But every single time, I made a decision. Get back up. Because when you stay down, you lose twice. Once for the failure and again for the decision to give up. But when you get back up, even if you're limping, even if you're bruised, even if you don't know what's next, you're still in the fight. And that's what matters. Getting back up means you haven't surrendered. It means you're still choosing purpose over pain, vision over defeat. Most people treat failure like a final chapter. They fall, and then they start writing the end of the story. I guess I wasn't good enough. I guess it's not meant for me. I guess this is where it stopped. No, failure is not the end. It's a comma, not a period. It's not there to define you. It's there to refine you, to teach you something about yourself that you wouldn't have learned any other way. When I first started speaking, I wasn't getting booked. People weren't showing up. I was grinding, but it felt like nothing was working. I failed over and over, but I kept going. Not because it was easy, not because I had some guarantee, but because I believed in something bigger than the failure. And now people see the results, the packed rooms, the viral videos, and they think it happened overnight. They don't know how many times I failed, how many times I failed, but I stood up one more time than I fell. That's the only difference. There will be moments when you feel like you can't get back up, like it's too much, too painful, too overwhelming. But those are the moments that separate the weak from the strong, the real ones from the ones who are just pretending. Anybody can keep going when everything is working. But what do you do when nothing's going right? What do you do when life slaps you in the face and dares you to rise? You rise anyway, you rise anyway. You rise because your purpose didn't die when you failed. You rise because your calling is still calling, even from the ground. You rise because somewhere deep down, there's more inside you. You rise because you made a decision that quitting is not an option. You rise because you come too far to only come this far. People will count you out when you fall. They'll assume you're done. They'll talk behind your back. But don't listen to them. Listen to that voice inside that said, hey, get up. That whisper that said, yeah. That fire that says, you still have more to give. Because every time you stand up, you get stronger. Every time you stand up, you build resilience. Every time you stand up, you prove that failure doesn't own you. This mindset falls 7 times, stand up 8. It's not just motivational talk. It's survival. It's endurance. It's what it takes to finish the race. If you think this journey is about perfection, you're already defeated. It's about persistence. It's about grit. It's about waking up the day after you've been crushed and saying, let's go again. It's about showing life that no matter what it throws at you, you will not fold. And here's the truth. You don't have to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just have to be the most relentless. You just have to be the one who keeps coming back. Life is a war of attrition. It's about who can last, who can take the hits and still keep moving, who can fall with grace and rise with fire. So fall as many times as you need to, but rise every time with more strength, more wisdom, more clarity. Don't let failure stop you. Let it sharpen you. Don't let the fall define your identity. Let the rise define your legacy. Because the truth is, every time you get up, you're writing a new chapter. Every time you get up, you're building a story worth telling. Every time you get up, you're saying to the world, you can knock me down, but I will not be broken. There comes a point where you stop leaving doors open behind you, where you stop playing both sides. So, where you stop saying, if it doesn't work, I'll try something else. No, this is it. This is all or nothing. There is no backup plan. There is no plan B. Success is not just something I want. It's the only outcome I will accept. Because when you burn the boats, when you shut the door behind you and throw away the key, that's when the real power shows up. That's when the grind becomes unstoppable. That's when success stops being a wish and becomes your lifestyle. People ask me all the time, and how did you do it? How did you keep going when things weren't working? I didn't have a choice. Success wasn't just a dream for me. It was survival. It was either rise or die, either grind or give up everything. I didn't have a safety net. I didn't have a cushion to fall back on. I had a future that demanded I rise, that demanded I build, that demanded I sacrifice. So I went all in. I gave every breath, every ounce of energy, every hour. Because when success is your only option, failure stops being your fear. It becomes your fuel. You stop negotiating with your effort. You stop saying, I'll try. You start saying, well, I will. You stop looking for ways out and start digging your heels in. When success is the only thing you allow in your life, your standards change. Your mindset shifts. You stop tolerating average. You stop hanging around people who don't push you. Don't push you. You stop making excuses. You start finding solutions. See, most people don't make it, not because they're not capable, but because they always leave the door cracked open. They say, if this doesn't work, I can always fall back. That's the problem. If you give yourself the option to fall back, you will. You've already given yourself permission to quit. You've already planted a seed of doubt. You've already told yourself that comfort is more important than calling. But when success is your only option, you dig deeper. You go farther. You stay longer. You bleed for it. You cry for it. You break for it. And you keep moving. You keep pushing. You keep rising because there's no other path. It's not about if, it's about when. It's not about someday. It's about now. Because when your whole life is on the line, you stop playing games. You stop waiting for perfect timing. You stop waiting for permission. I didn't have time to be afraid. I didn't have time to be uncertain. I had to move. I had to move. I had to create. I had to break through. And yes, it was hard. Yes, I failed. Yes, I failed. But I never stopped because I couldn't. Because when success is your only option, you stop letting failure define you. You let it build you. You use it. You learn from it. You let it toughen your skin, sharpen your edge, fuel your fight. You got to get to a place where quitting is no longer in your vocabulary, where comfort is no longer on the table, where distraction doesn't even tempt you, where you say, I'm going to win or I'm going to die trying. Not because you're reckless, but because you're committed. Because you know there's something inside you that was made to shine. Because you know mediocrity is not your name. Because you know the life you want won't come easy, and you made peace with that. Let the world doubt you. Let them laugh. Let them ignore you. You just keep moving. Keep building. Keep building. Keep growing. Because eventually, they'll see what you always knew. That you were never here to blend in. That you were never here to be average. That you were built for greatness. And not because it was easy, but because you chose it. Because you locked in when everyone else tapped out. Because you stared failure in the face and said, you will not stop me. Success is not just about money. It's not just about status. It's about becoming everything you were created to be. It's about showing up fully, about living with no regrets, about waking up and knowing you gave it all. That's real success. And when that becomes your only option, everything changes. Your time becomes sacred. Your habits become disciplined. Your focus becomes razor sharp. You stop blaming. You stop waiting. You stop wishing. You start building. You start becoming. You start becoming. And no matter how many storms come, no matter how many losses hit you, you don't fold. Because success isn't just something you want. It's something you've already claimed. It's already yours. Now all that's left is the work, the grind, the process. So get up. Lock in. Decide right now that from this moment forward, success is not just something you hope for. It's the only thing you accept. Let that decision drive everything. Let it fuel your mornings, your nights, your grind. Because when success becomes your only option, quitting stops being a possibility. And that's when everything begins to change.